In this tutorial, I will show you how to make a spider applique. This is a quick and beginner-friendly project, perfect for the Halloween season. For this project, I will be using a 4mm hook and 4-weight cotton yarn. The finished applique is about 3.5 inches wide and 3 inches tall, so if you want a smaller or bigger spider, just decrease or increase your hook size and yarn weight. You'll also need a darning needle, some scissors, and a stitch marker. The stitches we'll use in this pattern include the magic ring, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, and slip stitch. First, begin with a magic ring and single crochet 12. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we have 12 single crochets in this magic ring. Now we'll pull the ring tight and we'll slip stitch into that top of the first single crochet we made. And slip stitch. So there's our first round. Next we'll chain 1, and in our second round we'll work 2 half double crochets in each of the 12 stitches around for a total of 24. So we'll work our first half double crochet in that first stitch right there. And a second one in that same spot. And repeat this for the remaining 11 stitches. So here's 2 and a second one. There's 3 and a second one. 4 5 Now, if your ring is opening up, that's totally fine. We will tighten that later. We've got our 6th repeat. 1 and 2. Working on our 7th. 1 and 2. Our 8th. 1 and 2. Our 9th. 1 and 2. Repeat number 10. 1 and 2. And we've got 11. 1 and 2. And finally, our 12th repeat. 1 and 2. That's our 24th half double crochet. Now to close this round up, we will slip stitch into the top of that first half double crochet. All right, I'm going to pull up real quick just so we can tighten this ring up. Perfect. All right, now that 24th half double crochet you just worked right there, we are going to place a stitch marker. So this final half double crochet, add a stitch marker there. We will be attaching yarn there in a little bit. So go ahead and mark that stitch. And next up, we are going to start our next round, which will begin making the head of the spider. So we just slip stitched. In that very next stitch right here, we are going to work a half double crochet, 2 double crochet, and a half double crochet all in that same stitch. So half double crochet, then 2 double crochet, still in that same stitch. It's 1 and 2, and a half double crochet back in that same stitch. That forms our spider head. Then in the next 3 stitches, we will work a slip stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. We've got 1 slip stitch, then our second slip stitch, and our third slip stitch. All right, now we have our little spider head right there. Next, we'll begin making our first 4 legs of our spider along this side. So to do that, we will chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we'll work back down this chain to create our first leg. So in the second chain from the hook, that's the first chain, here's the second chain, we will work 3 slip stitches. So our first slip stitch, that's 1. Then the next chain, that's our second slip stitch. And our third chain with our third slip stitch. I'll skip the next stitch and slip stitch 3. It's 1, 2, and in that last chain, our third slip stitch. Next, slip stitch into that same stitch that we chained from, right there, back into the body. And in the next 2 stitches, work a slip stitch. 1 and 2. We will go ahead and repeat the same exact thing for legs 2, 3, and 4. So chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And beginning in that second chain from the hook, we'll work 3 slip stitches. So 1, 2. 1, 2, and 3. Then skip a stitch and work 3 more slip stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And then slip stitch back into that same stitch we chained from, back into the body. And slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2, and repeat again for the third and fourth leg. Now on your fourth leg, we are going to stop right after we slip stitch back into the body for that first time. So we're not going to end that repeat with the 2 slip stitches. We're just going to stop right here. Go ahead and pull up your yarn, and we'll leave a pretty decent tail if you are planning on attaching this to anything. So I'm going to be attaching mine to a granny square, so I'm going to leave a pretty decent tail for sewing to that later. All right, so that is first half of our 4 legs. You can shape them and block them later if you need to. There's that first side. All right, next up we are going to turn our spider over, and that stitch that we had marked before, this is where we're going to be attaching new yarn. So we're gonna do the final 4 legs. So grab your yarn, you can take that stitch marker out, and we'll repeat the exact same thing that we just did with the legs on this side. So attach it with a slip stitch and then chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Going back again, that is the second chain from the hook. Begin working slip stitch in the next 3 stitches, or 3 chains. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. We'll skip the next chain, then work 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. And then slip stitch back into the body where you joined your yarn, right here, with a slip stitch. And in the next 2 stitches, you'll work a slip stitch. So that's 1 and 2. And once again, just like with the other side, you'll repeat for the second, third, and fourth legs on this side. And on that last leg, finish with a slip stitch back into the body. And you can pull up your yarn, leave a longer tail if you need to, or just a tail enough to weave in your ends. Again, I'm going to be attaching mine, so I'm going to leave a decently long tail and pull your yarn through. Now your legs might look a little wonky, so you'll want to shape them a little. The legs do bend at that spot where you skip the stitch, so you can just kind of smooth out the leg and then bend it like so to kind of shape those legs. Cotton yarn does hold pretty well, but if you're using acrylic yarn, you can also use some fabric stiffener. I found this stiffener at my local Joann store and it works great. Next, if you want to glue on some googly eyes, or like I did with this one right here, you can just stitch in a little bit of another color to stitch in the eyes right there to complete your look. This concludes our Spider Appliqué tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on social media. Bye!